Truth Girl. Who qualifies her to put a work on these people?
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Mickey Truth, aka the Queen of Paperwork, and I am back with another video. As always, all information contained in this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. All information used in this video is per the Fair Use Act, and any conclusion that you draw is on you, not me. So let's get it. But we're about to get into it, okay? It's been a minute since we had a live like this. I think the last time we did a live like this, it was in regards to being an informant. So, for those who have not caught wind or caught up, okay, a couple days ago, I believe it was Wednesday, the Oblock 6 were found guilty on multiple charges that was on the indictment. However, the more important one, right, as far as to what to expect next, would be the murder and the Rico, okay, that was attached to the murder of FBG Duck. But yeah, so we're going to get into that. As I told y'all on my reaction video, that was just the beginning for the defendants, okay? And I don't know if that went over some people's head when I said that. But again, the original trial, the burden is definitely on the prosecution, okay? It's more, I would say it's more stressful on the victim's family going through that process, right? Once the verdict comes in, and in this case, the verdict was in favor of the government and for the victim and the victim's family, that's the win for them, for sure. For sure. And to be honest, this is where the tables turn, because now the defendants is in for a fight for their life, literally, right? And when I say that, I mean because this is where the burden is on the defense now, right? The burden is on the defense to find out if it's grounds for an appeal, and we're going to get more into that. The burden is on the defense, again, to figure out a way to, again, not get the max that could come with it. And we're going to get into that. So that's what I mean by it, okay? So again, the government, the prosecution has done their job, okay? Now it's on the defense to do what they need to do for their clients, okay? So you have to have, and this is, you don't have to, but if you're really going to talk the legal system, you should have basic knowledge of what happens next, okay? So this is what this live is for. This is not for the conspiracy theories or the people that, oh, well, you know, my Uncle Tom, you know, he ain't do this or he couldn't do that. This is about the actual legal process, okay? We're going to talk about particulars in this trial, right, that may assist with the next stage of the defendant's process, right? We're going to talk about possible civil cases, right? We're going to talk about, again, wrongful death suits. We're going to talk about all that on this live. So like I said, y'all get comfortable, get your coffee or your tea, get your questions, okay? Y'all know I'm very thorough, okay? So we're definitely going to get to the business. Like I said, this is definitely educational for sure, but it's entertainment at the same time because, again, this is going to be my interpretation of the information. And, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to show y'all where I get my resources from to make my interpretation. And then it's up to you. If you feel differently, definitely is on you. But this is, I'm going to be on, this is not really a debate. This is more so to voice my opinion on the matter. Okay? So I think I got all my disclaimers out. So before we get into it, make sure y'all like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend. I'll pull up on your girl, Mickey Truth. And y'all already know we are talking about the Oblock 6. What happens next? And this is Mickey Truth version of it, okay? Let's start with this, because like I said, it's been a minute since I even looked at the doggone indictment. First things first, the Justice Department put this out when the indictment first hit. And basically, this was back in 2021. I'm not going to read it. I actually just went back to it to show y'all where y'all can get a copy of the actual indictment for free. You don't have to pay for it, okay? So it's right there. It's at the bottom of it. It's literally from the justice.gov website. So, it's verified. All right, so let's open the indictment. All right, as y'all can see, it gives the case number, document number 1, when it was filed, which was September 30th, 2021. All right, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on it because I have done this a while ago. Y'all can check out that video, my very first Oblock video. I broke this down, but this is just a refresher because even I had to refresh myself when I was doing the research for this live. Okay, so all right, now this is the original indictment, so this doesn't include Teasy, okay? However, he is one of the defendants that was found guilty, all right? So, count 1. That's a very important count. One of the questions I received was, well, okay, they got found guilty of the murder of FBG Duck, but did they get found guilty of the Rico? And the simplest answer is yes. And this is why. What some people did not catch, I guess, is that the Rico in this particular case was the murder of FBG Duck. Okay. The furtherance of, I'm still gonna say the alleged gang, but in the court eyes, Oblock is a gang at this point for this case. The furtherance of Oblock came from the murder of FBG Duck. So it's tied together, and you can look at the indictment and understand that because under count 1, again, it is saying that the defendants are known and unknown members and associates of Oblock Street Gang, a criminal organization. There go the Rico right there. Okay. It breaks it down saying it's an enterprise. Okay. And it continues on saying what they're doing. They're promoting, enhancing the enterprise. So basically, count 1 is the Rico. It says, here you go. Defendants herein for the purpose of maintaining and increasing position in Oblock and enterprise engaged in racketeering activity did knowingly commit the murder of Carlton Weekly, aka FBG Duck, in violation of the laws of the state of Illinois. So, like I said, simple answer is yes, they were found guilty of the Rico because the Rico was the murder of FBG Duck. So, April 16, post-trial motions. May 16, government response. June 17, defense reply. All right. So this is the dates that's coming up. So again, the trial is over, but the work has just begun. So these are very important dates to keep in mind. So we should get updates on these around this time frame or new documents to review in regards to this case. Now, sentencing. Okay. Sentencing. Liggins, August 6th. Roberson, August 8th. Smart, August 13th. Turbin, August 15th. Olford, September 4th. Thomas, September 17th. Okay. So they won't be sentenced until later on this year. But a lot of people were asking me, well, are they going to get life? What are the options for sentencing? And like I told you, I had to do my homework on it, but I have done my homework on it, and we can talk about it this morning. Timothy said, is that normal for them to wait so long for sentencing? Yes. So it's a lot of things that go in between the verdict and the sentence. And this is not just because it's a murder case or because it's a Rico case. If y'all even, let me give some examples. G Herbo, right? G Herbo pled out what 5-6 months ago, but just got sentenced, right? Same thing with Trap Boy Freddy for those who keep up with Texas sector. So no, this is normal. That is because again, as you saw on the dates on the Twitter of the reporter, it's different motions that have to go in. And trust me, this case here will have the motions for sure. So as far as sentencing, you can go on, the website for the United States Sentencing Commission, and you can get this information, okay? And this is effective November 1st, 2023, all right? And it's different parts. Like right now, chapter 2, I'm on office conduct. They break it down. They tell you the guidelines. They tell you what you can expect, okay? So let's just start with this, okay? All offenses involving premeditated killing, okay? If you look at number 2. In the case of premeditated killing, life imprisonment is the appropriate sentence if a sentence of death is not imposed. A downward departure would not be appropriate. Hold on. What is that noise? In such a case, okay. A downward departure from a mandatory statutory term of life imprisonment is permissible only in cases in which the government files a motion for a downward departure for defendant's substantial assistance as provided in 18 U.S. 355G 3553E. All right. So, good morning, King. So, no, they are not facing the death penalty. However, they are facing mandatory life in prison. Mandatory life in prison. Okay. So the reason why it's mandatory life in prison is because, again, if we go back to the indictment, so I believe all the defendants was found guilty of count 3, right? And if you look at the verbiage, right, did knowingly conspire to murder Carlton Weekly, aka FBG Dub, right? That's the premeditation right there. Okay. So that is how it makes it a mandatory life sentence. So if we go back to the document, it does give you options for other ones, right? It gives you felony murder, right? And that just means it wasn't intentionally or knowingly, but we at this point know that's not the case. They got him for premeditated murder. So life. Now I'm gonna be honest. Y'all did hear the part. The only way to get a downward departure and not receive life per this document, okay, not per McTruth, per this document, is to cooperate with the government, okay? And key words on here. Key words right there. Substantial assistance. And at this point, they can't tell on each other, okay? They will have to provide substantial assistance in order to get the government to request a downward departure where they won't get life. And that's just how it goes, okay? This does not imply that any one of the 6 will do it. However, this is just the facts of the facts, okay? Now, that's for sentencing. Now, once all the motions, the post-trial motions are filed, boom, sentencing comes around. The judge hands out, let's just say, life. Everybody gets life. A regular person will be like, oh, it's over. They got life. You're going to be right. Kind of. It's over at that point with this particular process, right? What will happen next is the appeal process will kick in place. And again, y'all can go to this website, United States Courts, and y'all can look at this for yourself. Appeals process. It just, again, it just breaks it down. I'm going to say this is very important because how appellate courts are different from trial courts, okay? Here you go. At a trial in a U.S. district court, witnesses give testimony and a judge or jury decides who is guilty or not guilty, or who is reliable or not reliable, or not liable. The appellate courts do not retry cases or hear new evidence. They do not hear witnesses testify. There is no jury. Appellate courts review the procedures and the decisions in the trial court to make sure the proceedings were fair and that the proper law was applied correctly. I feel like that was very important to emphasize because the whole time in multiple trials, I said it with Y.W. Melly, That was our first trial over here on the Truth Team that we watched to the end. Oblock is the next one that we followed to the end. This is why the whole time I kept saying, when it comes to a trial, when it comes to being inside that courtroom, everything matters.
The court is the trial court. They are the ones that hear the cases for the first time most often. And then the appellate court is the appellate body. So they hear the cases on appeal.
Why do you think it's important to be able to appeal a case?
I think it's very important for the rule of law. We hope that courts get it right the first time they hear the case, but there are certain situations where there are errors made at the trial level. So defendants should have the right to appeal that if they believe that there's some error.
So, like I said, it's an hour and something long. For those who may not have a clear understanding of the appeals process and you don't like to read, go listen to the video in its entirety. So I played that just because, again, a lot of my questions, good morning, bosses. A lot of my questions I get is, oh, they're not going to get an appeal or this and that. Again, the appeal is not because you feel like they're guilty, okay? The appeal process is not because, they were on video, doing the shooting or none of that. The appeal process is for mistakes made at the trial, okay? So again, when I say, in my opinion, all 6 defendants will file for an appeal, that is why I'm saying it. Because you can say, yo, my lawyer did not do what he was supposed to do or she was supposed to do for me. That's a mistake made at trial. You can file an appeal, okay? So now let's transition into the appeal process. Now, excuse me. As far as when can you file for appeal, right? That would be very important to know. Well, you won't file for appeal, or you can't file for appeal, to my understanding. Now, again, this is my interpretation of it. One of the articles you can read that kind of summarize it too is from this blog. And as you can see in the blog, it says, after sentencing, the defendant has 14, is it calendar days or business days? Yep, 14 calendar days to file a notice of appeal. So far in the process, we have the verdict, which we just got this past Wednesday. We now know is multiple motion hearings that's going to take place over the spring into the summer, and then every defendant is scheduled for sentencing at the end of the year. So within 2 weeks, basically 14 calendar days of their sentencing, whether they get life or not, they have 2 weeks to file an appeal. And I'm pretty sure every last one of them will file an appeal. I mean, that's normally how it goes, because this is your chance. And again, it's not about the evidence at this point. The government has done their job with that. They provided everyday people like us evidence. And they came to a decision based on that evidence that all 6 defendants are guilty. Their job is done with that. That's not important now, right? Because that's done. You can't go back and read. That's done. Now it's about not proving or telling a story about how the evidence matches the defendant. Now the government has to stand on what they did during trial, right? Because again, if they were found not guilty, the government couldn't file an appeal. That's not how it works. Like if they're found not guilty. However, the appeal process in criminal cases, the defense or the defendant can file for appeal.
Like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend to pull up on your girl Mickey Truth. And as always, donations are welcome to support the channel. Hit the Cash App, Mickey Truth 2022. Holla!
Shout out Mickey. Mickey, you gonna be big. Like,
yeah, I'm trying to conquer the world. Coming from where I come from. They doubted me, but I